Coyotes on the loose. If you see something, say something. This is the focus group.
It's the savvy side of 9 to 5. Listen.
Bueller.
Laugh. And learn.
Negotiation. This is what you do in business.
This is the focus group with Tim Bennett.
Staunch.
And John Nash.
Keep your clothes looking neat and clean.
We're all business. Except when we're not.
Hey, welcome to the focus group. Tim Bennett here, as always, with my good friend and co-host, Mr. John T. Nash. John has alerted me that it's the beginning of fall. It's September 25th. Is it the beginning or we're in fall, you said?
I think we're a day or two in the equinox. I forget the exact date, but yeah, we're in fall now, officially.
We're in fall. So thanks for those of you who follow along with us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. East through our YouTube stream, which is Focus Group Radio, and all of our social media, which is also Focus Group Radio. And you can watch us live on Facebook. And thanks also to those of you that are listening to TFG Unbuttoned, which is our Tuesday morning podcast. We really do appreciate it. So good morning, John.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, I guess.
Good afternoon.
Why do I think it's morning?
Well, two things. Hey, Garrett and Steve are in the booth. We have Garrett on audio and Steve on video. And who's our intern back there?
Bobby Robbie.
Bobby Robbie.
You can't just have Bobby. It's Bobby Robbie. All right. Well, you know that according to our fan base, that's the show. Those guys are more popular than us.
Really?
We want to hear from the boys in the booth. Yeah.
We're going to have to get the boys new shirts, maybe tighter shirts or something.
We have, apparently our desks have been refelted.
Or no shirts at all.
You didn't notice it last week when we were there that they were felted? I thought we talked about it last week.
Saturday morning TV. I jotted down some stuff for you that I want to talk about. So this past weekend, we got
not on my notes, John. It's not on my notes.
This is what we call banter.
Oh, okay.
It's banter. It's an extemporaneous conversation out of the origins of my twisted
what we
brain.
call banter.
We call
banter. We call it.
So we're sitting around in the dining room area, and the TV's on. There's nothing on Saturday mornings. In fact, I don't remember Saturday morning being like this. So I go to the Apple TV and I go to the YouTube app, and just to see if it was there, I searched for something called HR Puffin Stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you remember HR Puffin Stuff? Okay. I found it. They had the premiere episode. They had a bunch of Puffin Stuff episodes. Now, if anybody...
I still love Witchy Poo.
But can I tell you something? We find this episode. We start watching it. HR Puffin Stuff. Where you going when things get rough? It's these Sid and Marty Krofft.
Yes.
People there was real people, and then there were people dressed in characters, and then there was Witchy Poo. And so there's this kid named Freddie. He gets lost in a boat, which is Witchy Poo's boat, and she wants his talking magic flute. Hi, Freddie.
She wants his flute.
Filled.
With innuendo.
As an adult, you look at it, you're like, oh my God. The woman who played Witchy Poo was hysterical. We're watching it. Bob's mouth is slowly starting to drop open. He's like, because he missed this by a couple years. So he goes, do you watch this every Saturday morning? And I said, HR Puffin Stuff was one of our favorite. We love Puffin Stuff. And he goes, how old were you? I said, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7. I don't.
Yeah, it was on a little later than the cartoons.
11, 10:30, 11. Yeah. So you know what we watched after that? I called up another show called The New Zoo Review. It's The New Zoo Review.
I never saw that.
A hippo, an owl, and again, Sid and Marty Krofft kind of thing. They all dance around in costumes.
Hippo, an owl, and what else?
It's an owl, a hippo, and a frog, Freddie the Frog. Henrietta the hippo, and they teach you math and all that stuff. And so again, Bob's mouth open.
I did bad.
Oh, and then there's Doug and Emmy Joe, the two humans in the show.
Emmy Joe?
With Doug and Emmy Joe. Every day is a different show. It's The New Zoo.
I thought you were going to say you pulled up Pee-wee's Playhouse or something, which we watched out of college.
I'm laughing. Bob's like mystified that this was even, and I've said to him, you have to remember that this in between this was Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space,
Archie,
Scooby-Doo,
Jetsons.
Archie, the Jetsons, the whole bit. That was my we loaded with cartoons, right, Saturday morning. Then, just for random stuff, I put in Hollywood Squares Paul Lynde to YouTube. We went down a rabbit hole. We watched a half hour of all his comebacks. And
best ofs.
The one that really, all right, so there's a whole bunch, but there was a series of shows where Buddy Hackett was one of the squares, and he sat next to Paul Lynde. We began having a fun time because they would ask the question, and Paul would think, and then he'd come out with something. Talk about a comedian who could just, right, come out with something. Our favorite moment, though, is when Buddy Hackett would hear Paul Lynde, and Buddy Hackett would start like just laughing. Like he loved Paul Lynde's humor. So, I think about 45 minutes go by, however long we did this, and then that was it. And I said, okay, now, and Bob goes, boy, you're in a great mood. I said, because it's Saturday morning. We got Puffin stuff. We had news review. We had some Paul Lynde.
If you like those bloopers, you've got to watch some of the bloopers from Wheel of Fortune and the old Family Feud with Richard Dawson. There's actually one with him. They said that they didn't really know what to do. They had to cut it for broadcast. But he was laughing for, I think they said 17 minutes. He could not get he asked the woman a question about something about a month. Tell me what month it is when you could recognize you're pregnant or something like that. The woman says September. So instead of the third month, fourth month, it was supposed to be a number. Like what month? How
many months into the pregnant? You
recognize you're pregnant. So it was obviously, and the woman goes, September. And he thought that was so funny, and he couldn't then go any further. And the poor family, I mean, because it goes on and on and on. And they actually do have the whole thing up there so you can watch the whole thing. He just can't control himself. And then there's a bunch of them on Wheel of Fortune where, some of the stuff people come out with.
How about the dating game?
I haven't seen those.
The dating game had the most famous one.
The Newlywed.
Maybe it was the Newlyweds.
Was pretty good. How often does your husband masticate? He never masticates. He's very happy with me.
That's the one. And that's where the two things would come in.
Yep.
So it was 4 couples. One of those on the Newlywed game was, where was the strangest place you and your husband made whoopee? And then, that's when they're asking the questions and the spouse is off stage. Then they come back and he's supposed to answer. And so he sits there for a minute and he said, well, I would say that she said the butt.
In the butt, Bob.
And then the show almost stops because...
There was another one with an older couple that was both their second marriages. And they said, how would you finish this? Your husband is a closet blank. And she goes, Queen. And the woman had no idea
what year was this? The 70s or the
60s, 70s. My husband's a closet. It's Queen. And then when the husband went, I was furious.
I didn't mean to take us down memory lane, but you had turned me on to something a while ago. Was it Buzzer TV? Mm-hmm. There's one or two. I don't know if it's called Buzzer for us, but we have a game show.
Well, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, and they're
Buzzer,
old,
I think, is the best.
Old reruns, and they even sometimes show old ads.
Right, and they show the old What's My Line and To Tell the Truth from the 50s, and also Beat the Clock. The old What's My Line is just so, and it was on Sunday nights at either 9:30 or 10:30 at night, which I think is awful late.
So
the men were in tuxedos, the women are dressed in glamour outfits, but it was very New York City based, kind of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut based, because that's where most of the guests seemed to come from. But it was really a fun look back because everybody spoke properly.
Enough said with the head gesture.
When they try to bring back, they're trying to bring back all these old game shows, $100,000 Pyramid and all these other things. Match Game. They don't do it for me.
No. And in fact, it's the hosts. So to me, I associate Pyramid with Dick Clark. And who was the guy? Gene Rayburn? No, Gene Rayburn was Match Game. And who was Password? Alan Lunt?
Alan Ludden.
And he
was Betty White's.
Yeah, he would do this with the
Betty
clues.
White's husband. I didn't like him. I thought he was nasty.
I didn't know he was married to Betty White.
Oh, yeah.
News to me. Seriously,
that was Betty White's
She used to be
husband.
on the show, too. Oh, okay.
It's once in a while, though. Ha, ha, ha.
Got it. Okay.
So what caught your eye this week?
What caught your eye? Here's what Tim and John found.
The caught my eye is a two-pronged thing. It's the same story, but two pieces of it caught my eye. The headline was this: Richard Branson's adults only cruise line reveals uniforms and they look like sexy superheroes. So Richard Branson is launching a cruise line, and the ship is named, where is it now?
I love the idea that it's adults only.
Scarlet Lady is the name of the ship and the cruise.
Scarlet Lady.
So these are some of the costumes. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, we have it up here, but I'll describe it to you for our listeners. There's a woman on the left, and she's wearing this really kind of spare black outfit, but she's got a red cape like Superman blowing in the wind, right? And then I guess that's the modern sailor on the right, this young guy with this kind of striped T-shirt thing with black pants. They all have to wear sneakers that come. Who makes the sneakers? There's a company in London that does this. But what surprised me most about this, the sneakers are made by someone called PLAE, Play.
Is that woman walking around with that cape during the whole cruise?
Well, apparently, gone are the traditional uniforms for cruise employees that typically include waistcoats and ties. Virgin Voyages uniforms are sophisticated and sexy, boasting a line of red capes, red and black dresses, black and white striped T-shirts, and form-fitting unisex black and white ensembles with suspenders. Most of the outfits will be paired with a gender-neutral, custom-designed pair of red sneakers made by Play. We ultimately wanted to make everything about it modern, luxurious, and desirable to allow the entire crew to look and feel like $1 million in keeping with the rest of the experience. So that's part of it, these unusual uniforms for these crews, the employees on the cruise. But then I really kind of got fascinated by this whole thing about 8 adults-only cruise, right? Mm. Virgin Voyages is launching this thing soon, and it's called the Scarlet. Instead of offering buffet-style dining like most ships do, the Scarlet Lady, the name of the boat, will feature more than 20 dining options for guests, all included in the price of their cruise. The ship also doesn't force guests to wear formal wear and won't have assigned seating at dinner. All right.
That's nice.
The cruise line will also have a no-tipping policy, which is cool because you never understand that thing anyway. Some other adult-friendly amenities on the Scarlet Lady will include a tattoo parlor, a mini bar, a mani-pedi studio, a world-class spa, a nightclub, an athletic center, and a blow-dry bar. I had to think about that one for a minute, the blow-dry. I guess you go get your hair blown dry.
Get a blowout?
You get a blowout. Thank you. Oh, and then, all right. At night, guests can rest their head in the ship's standard cabins or one of 78 Rockstar suites, which are built for luxury with spacious rooms and fully stocked bars. Many offer ocean views. Suite guests will also have access to Richard's Rooftop, an exclusive outdoor deck where they can drink, relax, or socialize. So, I'll sum up caught my eye by simply saying I have vowed off cruising. I don't need to be on a boat again. Period.
After the one you went to Disney with Andrew?
Norwegian Cruise Line? Oh, that was the trip that I thought on the third day. I thought, well, if I'm a prisoner, how does that happen on a vacation? Well, if I'm a prisoner, I might as well try to enjoy myself.
I don't know why you're all hepped up to go on that boat.
It was a cheap trip.
You always get yourself into these situations. I don't know. You were...
I wanted to go. It was.
Did he want to go?
Yeah, until we were on the boat and we started seeing...
It's like a floating mall.
It was really a floating buffet, you know. And that reminds me of the one cruise you and I went on where Jonathan Norton, the cruise director, told us about one time he was on a ship that was a Weight Watchers boat. Mm-hmm. And they were doing a cruise, and the Weight Watchers...
The Avon ladies.
It was the
Avon ladies, where they ate all the food?
Yeah. They had to go back to port or something because they ran out of food, yeah.
The Avon ladies.
It's better if it's Weight Watchers, though.
Well, Weight Watchers, they're supposed to be watching their weight.
I know, but that's the irony of that one. Anyway, what caught your eye?
At the buffet, and they've got a pineapple on there. So, you probably are going to think I'm weird, but I've lived in a bunch of different states, so I follow news still. So when I lived in Portland, Oregon, I look at the Oregonian newspaper, I look at the Star Tribune from Minnesota.
Every city you lived in.
I look at news. Yeah. I want to see what's going on. It's places I lived. So
You're a stable genius.
Very stable genius. So this came up from the Marietta Times, and it was also on their Facebook. So everybody knows who watches the show. I went to little college in Marietta, Ohio, which McCullough's new book about the pioneers is out, by the way. You should read that.
You mentioned that
History.
before, yeah.
Anyway, there's a little section of town called Harmer Village, and there apparently is a bunch of coyotes that have been loose. So
This is around Marietta?
Yeah, it's in the town. So right across one of the little bridges, there's a little village called the Harmer Village. And so the police had put out this notice and said, we've been made aware of multiple coyote sightings within, Washington County and Harmer Village. Typically the coyotes are nocturnal, but it's not uncommon to see them during the day. Seeing a coyote is not a reason to call 911. So all these people are calling 911.
Just because they saw it.
It's because they saw it. Yeah. They said, however, please be alarmed if you do see a coyote with this certain behavior. So if you're watching, you'll see the road runner, whatever. So they posted this on Facebook. It says, if you see a coyote carrying any products marked Acme, call us. If you see coyotes dropping anvils from hot air balloons, call us. If you see coyotes posting signs such as detour or free birdseed, call us. If you see coyotes in possession of a giant magnet, a possession of a catapult, or detonating TNT, call us. If you see coyotes on roller skates with rockets attached, please call 911, as this is unusual behavior for a coyote. Remember, see something, say something. And so the police and everybody posted this on Facebook. I thought it was hilarious.
I've been laughing through this whole thing as you read each one, and here's the thought I had. I love stuff like this. It says people have a sense of humor. We're culturally on the same plane, because everybody saw the Wile E. Coyote, the old Warner Brothers, the Looney Tunes stuff. Oh my God,
seeing a coyote is not a reason to call 911, but certain behaviors may cause alarm. And I thought it was a joke, like somebody put. And so I went to the actual site, and no, it's posted there. The police and the town manager had posted it, so I thought it was funny.
So that's Marietta.
Yeah, in Ohio.
Would you recognize a coyote if you saw one?
Yeah. Yes, I would.
Sometimes I think that.
So there's a picture of one. That was the actual coyote.
Yeah, Steve had it up before. I think that sometimes I would mistake one possibly for a dog or a fox.
Well, fox has a bushier tail and is a little smaller.
Shorter legs too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Smaller, yeah.
But a coyote, you're right. It could be, but it looks like a mangy dog.
You know what throws it off?
It's the mouse. Is the snout.
The snout. Yeah, that's a very definitive.
And long legs, right?
Yeah, they're fast.
Not as fast as the Roadrunner, though.
I've told this story a million times. When we bought our place upstate, we have farmland behind us, and one day the farmer was doing the corn or taking the corn down. It was late October, and we waved, and he stops, and we chat with him a little bit, and I'm like, we haven't seen any groundhogs, chipmunks, or any of these little rodent things around. Do you think there's a coyote around? I don't know about that. There could be a coyote. I'm like, and I'm stupid me. I'm like, are you sure maybe it's a coyote? Because, but
My dad calls them coyotes,
maybe
too.
it could be a coyote.
Coyote.
It was the third time when I finally said, I looked at him and said, do you think it could be a coyote? It could be a coyote. They love that. I just he smiled the whole time. I'm smiling too because I got the joke, but
I don't know about that.
Tim, I have to say, that's a funny one. That's a very funny one. You saw it in a paper first, then you went to the Facebook.
Well, I went to the online,
online,
and I saw it, and it said, it said causing a stir on social media, whatever. Then I looked, and I said, this can't be true. And then, yeah, it certainly was. I went to the actual site, and they had it posted. Don't call us if you see a coyote. It's normal.
Brilliant.
Unless you see some of this behavior. Our business birthday.
Everyone does celebrity birthday greetings, but the Focus Group is the only show in the universe that celebrates business birthdays.
I was just talking with one of our peers in LGBT marketing, and we talked about this company because they were a huge sponsor of New York Pride this year, Salesforce.
Yeah.
I don't know much about them. Do you?
Software-based company, or it's a software. I think their product is software. They manage sales, so the software allows you to manage sales leads, contacts. I think they do a lot of other stuff too. But there's a big. They have like a building over on 6th Avenue.
Well, so their founder's birthday's today. Marc Russell Benioff, I'll say Benioff.
Benioff. It's Benioff. Yeah.
Born September 25th, 1964. He's 55 today, and he only has a net worth of $6.4 billion. He's a founder and chairman and co-CEO of Salesforce, which is an enterprise cloud computing company. And so he actually, when he was in high school, so he's been involved in kind of software development of apps and so forth since he was younger. They said in high school he sold his first application for $75. It was how to juggle. He came up with an app or some sort of application. At 15, he founded...
like a teaching program of some sort?
That's how you juggle, yeah.
Have you ever tried juggling?
I you know what? It's funny you say that. It was going to be one of my things this year to do. I still got time.
You still... Yeah, you do. You do. And
Can you juggle?
No, and
let's learn how to juggle. We'll do it on the Christmas show.
Are you throwing?
Can you boys juggle?
Is that being thrown down?
I could do 3.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I can't even do 2.
Well, I think should we try? Should we say by Christmas we're going to do a juggle?
Yeah, it seems impossible, but like once it clicks in your head, 3 is easy.
Really?
No, it's actually impossible. It's
I
not.
figured Garrett would know how to
Well,
do it.
Garrett, yeah, these guys. That's why. Yeah.
New age Garrett. You sure you're not gay?
Gay red in the name.
Turn it red. Anyway, it's his birthday today. Benioff, is that how it's-
Benioff.
Benioff. And so he also founded some Liberty software company at age of 15. He worked for Apple for a number of years, and while he was in college, his professor said, you need to obtain some customer-oriented work experience. So he joined Oracle. He was there for 13 years. He left
13
Apple.
years at Oracle.
Left
Okay.
Apple, went to Oracle. He was Rookie of the Year at 23 years old. He worked his way up. He was the youngest VP in the company history. He then founded Salesforce in '99 in a rented San Francisco apartment. And his mission statement was the end of software. He had long evangelized software as a service as the model that would replace traditional enterprise software. He's the creator of the term platform as a service and has extended Salesforce reach, which allows customers to build their own apps on the company's architecture. You know anything about that? That's all gibberish to me.
Well, it would be like, yeah, I know what it means, but instead
novel?
of having, yeah, well, when he started, it would be, and so instead of buying individual installs for your contacts, your this, or that, their platform allows you, it gives you that basic level, and then you can customize it
okay.
for your organization. Yeah.
Last year, he and his wife bought Time Magazine. How much do you think Time Magazine sold
Honey,
for?
what do you feel like? National Geographic or
What do you
Time?
think
I'll buy
Magazine
Time.
would sell for? Anybody got a guess?
Oh,
Last year,
Yeah.
probably a lot less than it would have been, like 2 or 3 years ago.
Anyone
right?
have a number? Time Magazine. We could have bought Time Magazine.
40 million.
$50.
50. Well,
I'm gonna go with 450 million.
190 million, which I thought's nothing.
Garrett would have won the showcase. Price is
Okay,
right.
showdown. He was named one of Fortune's 50 great leaders, blah, blah, blah. He's won a bunch of awards from every possible magazine. He started this model called the 1-1-1 model, which he's trying to get other companies to follow, which is you contribute 1% of equity, 1% of your employee hours, and 1% of product profits back to the communities you serve. And he's already got 700 companies signed up to do this, including Google. He and his wife are huge benefactors of giving, and not just giving some away, like hundreds of millions, to children's health, and to the environment, to ocean cleanup. And this here was of interest to me. In 2015, he announced that Salesforce would cancel all employee programs and travel to Indiana after they passed the Religious Freedom Act. They were the largest largest tech employer in Indiana. He led a global effort of business leaders to fight back against the legislation, which ultimately led to the Indiana legislature not passing the bill. He also had a similar boycott for Georgia's HB First Amendment Defense Act. Again, the governor vetoed the bill. So he's very much a friend to the LGBTQ community. He also just recently announced he's going to review all salaries to ensure that men and women are paid equally. And he's also mad at San Francisco tech companies. He said, you're hoarding your wealth. You need to do something about helping the homeless people of San Francisco and making sure that we have affordable housing. And all these tech companies that are making so much money there need to do something about it.
And
I agree with him.
Yeah, I do. And so he's like an enlightened CEO. And
Given when I say I didn't go through it all, but hundreds of over $1 billion they've given to either kids' charities or healthcare, education.
I just love hearing that because you can't take it with you.
No, he's just doing good.
And the 1-1-1 thing reminds me in a different way of that pledge that Warren Buffett and Gates, to give away the vast majority of their wealth as well. Different, but
So hey, everyone who everyone should know
better
that are listeners of the Focus Group know that Deep Discount is a partner of ours here. And be sure to head over to focusgroupradio.com and click on the Deep Discount logo. Sharky the Shark's not here today, but maybe another time. Maybe
the
next week.
puppet will only come when he's needed.
Only comes when needed. Well, right now
Swimming around looking for sales.
they've got Sega. The Sega Genesis Mini went on sale last week, and it's under $80, and I love it because it's old school. So all the old
You'd
school
say
games.
that,
Well,
yeah.
I know, and and there's something fun about all those classics and those classic games. You said you love Tetris.
Yeah, then I read what else was on the platform.
So what else is on there?
So, and they highlighted the favorites. So it's Sonic the Hedgehog. So these are a lot of those, what are they?
Bounce, bounce,
Yeah,
bounce,
exactly.
bounce. Jump and bounce.
They call it scrollers. Is that what they call those guys? Scrollers, where you're going left?
Platformers.
Yeah, that's it. Street Fighter, Gunstar Heroes, Road Rash, and Tetris. But that's naming only 5 or 6 of the 40 titles that ship on this thing. Out of the box, you could plug it in. I'm watching it now in the video. By the way, I'm hand raising. I'm going to buy one of these things because I am not a big video game. This is the kind of game I could play, or a puzzle game, I suppose. But when I watch,
love the simplicity of it. I bought something similar way back, which has Pac-Man and some of that stuff on it.
Classics, yeah.
This is the same sort of thing.
So it's the Sega Genesis Mini. I think Tim said about a week or two ago that this could make at the beginning of the month, you thought this would make a great gift.
Yes.
And so now it's mini, plugs into the TV.
So ready to go. You don't have to load anything.
You're done. And the controllers, I think, are Bluetooth or they're not wired. But I would definitely check it out at deepdiscount.com. And thanks for playing the video, Garrett. It's got me on the Sega.
What's the sale this week, Mr. New?
So the sale at Deep Discount this week is the no need to stream. And I went right to the home page, and right there, I think it might not be there now. Let's see, but there was a show on the Stars it was Stars Network, I think, that my friend Alex told me about. He loved it, and I never got to see it, but I would watch it because he watched the whole thing. It's called Black Sails, and guess what? It's about pirates.
Oh my gosh, did you watch it?
I think it
You
loses.
didn't have it yet.
I watched the beginning of one episode. I kind of liked it. I liked the casting. And so it takes place in the world of like the Robert Louis Stevenson Treasure Island. So if you imagine the Treasure Island kind of thing, and it goes from there. I think it was 38 episodes, which I believe would be about 3 seasons of Black Sails. But if it's one of those shows that you might not have had the subscription to Stars or something. Why not try it out, right?
Is there a gay theme on it?
No, I didn't.
The pirates were,
Garrett starts laughing.
because have you guys seen it? The pirates were all gay. I mean, put a bunch of boys on a boat like
Yeah,
that.
all boys on a boat.
I mean, you're on there forever, right?
I've never
You're
heard of
new-
one female pirate.
Right. Pirates were all gay.
Again, Garrett puts the dot on the I and crosses
Am I
the T.
crazy?
No, you're right. The only female pirate I ever saw was in the reboot of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right. Or something they did live on stage in Vegas.
That's why it was called Blackbeard.
And the release this week is a movie that I'm kind of intrigued about. It's called Yesterday.
Yeah, when I read this, I was shocked.
Did you like it?
I didn't even know it had come out.
So I'll give you a little tidbit here. It says, yesterday everyone knew the Beatles. Today only Jack remembers their songs. He's about to become a very big deal. So it's a movie from Academy Award-winning director Danny Boyle, who's responsible for Slumdog Millionaire, Trainspotting, 28 Days Later, and Richard Curtis, the Oscar-nominated screenwriter of Four Weddings and a Funeral, Love Actually, and Notting Hill. So you got a pretty cool creative team here. And basically, it's after a freak bus accident during a mysterious global blackout. The main character, Jack, wakes up to discover that the Beatles have never existed, and he finds himself with a very complicated problem because he remembers all their songs. And so and the cover of the Blu-ray has him, that famous, is that Abbey Road was the album when they're crossing the crosswalk? Yeah. So I don't know. I think that looks like a really fun watch to me.
Right, and I loved it. The writer also did Four Weddings and a Funeral, I think.
That's funny.
Which I love. I've often thought about this. If there was a mass plague or there was nuclear war or something, and you were one of the few people left, you could probably be pretty smart, right?
Yeah.
If you knew how to play an instrument, say, "Oh, yeah, I got a song." Stairway to Heaven.
Yesterday.
Just wrote it. Right? I mean, anyway, not that I want to
or
left.
Vacations all I ever
wanted.
Oh, that's a snappy tune. Did you come up with that?
Sure. Go get the Wurlitzer organ and make sure I can play it all.
And someone's riding a bike to make it go because we won't have electricity in that dystopic
but if
future.
there's 3 or 4 people left wearing gray, they're not going to dance. I don't know. Would you dance then? There's no happiness in the future. That's why when you watch all these happy movies, no one's happy. Blade Runner, no one's happy. They're all trying to survive. There's no happiness.
The meaning of dystopian future. It's like,
no one eats. No
Debbie
one's happy.
Downer wrote some of those movies I said. So, just to recap here on our Deep Discount segment, by all means, check out deepdiscount.com. Get there by going to focusgroupradio.com and clicking on the shark logo. And the first thing first, check out the Sega Genesis Mini. I think it's a really cool thing. It comes with over 40 games, plug and play right out of the box. I'm raising my hand. I'm going to get one. Why not? When Garrett played the video and I saw the graphics, I'm like, yeah, I remember all this. The sale this week is No Need to Stream. We recommended Black Sails. It was a show that was on Stars a while back. It's about pirates, and then the release of the week we're also very excited about yesterday, about a guy that wakes up after a global incident, and he's the only one that remembers the Beatles. So we are going to take a quick break and return with Shop Talk and a surprise.
You do thank Deep Discount.
Oh, Garrett, I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Deep Discount.
You're listening to The Focus Group with Tim and John. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com. Focus on the savvy side of 9 to 5 with The Focus Group.
Try, really try.
Listen, laugh, and learn with Tim and John.
I never try anything. I just do it.
Hey, welcome to the Focus Group. Tim Bennett here, as always, with my good friend and co-host John Nash. Follow along with us each week. Go to focusgroupradio.com. You'll be able to find all of our shows, including our Tuesday podcast, which is TFG Unbuttoned.
Unbuttoned.
Shop Talk, and we're going to taste some Oreos later, so stay.
That's a
stay with
surprise.
us. That's a surprise. But right now we have an article which John and I laughed about. Is from a Stanford psychology expert. If Tim and John did it, it'd been a paragraph. This guy took about 6 pages to say what we could have said in one line. But
Maybe he gets paid by the word.
That's these
No,
academics.
Charles Dickens was paid by the word. That's
he
why.
really?
That's why all his stories are so long. Like the Christmas Story, Tale of Two Cities. They were paid by the word
And
back
the
then.
snow began to fall, as if
and it was white and crystal, like 5 cents.
I worked with somebody. Well, so anyway, this says this is the number one skill parents need to teach their kids, but most don't. So this says, as parents, we all want to raise our kids who are smart and focused, especially in a world where digital distraction seems to be inescapable. So they said that the most important thing we need to do is to make our kids indistractable. I've never heard that word before. Is that a new word?
Yeah, I used the word on my mom the other night when I was talking to her about this exact topic, and she did pause. She used to teach, so she said, "Where'd you get that from?" I said, "The headline." Well, she goes, "I guess it's a word." I mean, she defaulted to the.
I argued for the word influsive. influsive, and I used it in a paper. Someone who's influential. It's influsive.
Did you actually argue?
Yes, with Mr. Elgis. Mr. Elgis, and for quite a while.
Elgis?
Quite a while. I said it's a word, or it should be. And he said it's not a word. I'm positive it's a word, influsive. Someone who's influential. When I think about it now, but he enjoyed arguing with me about it. I think he even brought in an English teacher. He might have brought in
There you go
Susan
again.
Rogers or something.
And just as a complete sidebar, my mom wants you to know. My mom knows Tim very well because we went to the same regional high school. My mom said, she goes, make sure you tell Tim that every teacher she knows who's still teaching can't wait to hit the doors. She said, your class, she goes, you know how she always says we're the golden age of public education. Art supplies, everything was great. And I guess because we had teachers that would humor us with influsive.
It's like influsive. I said, yes. He goes, what's that? I said, someone who's influential. It is. I said, he goes, that's not a word. I said, it certainly is.
I'm sure he was giving you marks and props for being so headstrong about it.
I still think it's a good word. Influsive. He was very influsive.
I would have taken a different meaning out of that one. When you said, when it came out of influential, but Garrett, what do you think influsive meant when you heard that come out of him?
Like effusive with an L.
Like if you were influsive. Like Garrett always likes, Garrett's very influsive when he tries his Oreos. He lets us know you're
Sick with the flu.
with the flu. I thought my word was popular. I'm going to get a t-shirt made.
My word was gription.
Gription.
That could be a word. I
You know, like you
gription.
put tape on your hockey stick to get better gription.
Gription.
Better gription. Like traction. Boy, I like that. I got to write that down. Gription.
Influsive,
We're going to do our own dictionary.
influsive, and grip.
Focus Group
gription.
Dictionary. Influsive and gription. We got other ones.
Nice.
Please submit them to
We are
letters at
not- yeah.
focusgroupradio.com.
He's not kidding. That's going to be the new little book you buy at the counter on your. It's called, what do we call it?
Digestible.
No, it's some kind of quick purchase, instantaneous impulse purchase, impulse buy. Yeah. All right.
Impulsive.
back to our article. We can sum this up pretty quickly.
Yeah, what was it? I got you off.
Becoming indistractable is the most important skill for the 21st century, and it's one that many parents fail to teach their kids. And it's because of all the devices, all the attention-grabbing video, TV shows, whatever. And in fact, the article talks about how they negotiated with their daughter, in a good way, to teach her about things like because she would always ask for iPad time. And so they said that the way to teach a child to be indistractable is to teach them how to set boundaries for their own time. And the only reason I like this article is because it reminded me of how we were raised. You go out and play.
Right.
You solve your own problems. We come back sometimes with scraped knees and cuts, and someone down the road was mean. Well, you're gonna have to solve that problem, you know.
Well, they used logic too, which I thought was smart. So they didn't teach the kid. They didn't just say no. They said it was also a time where they were teaching their daughter how to tell time, and said that there's a limited number of time, and if you spend a lot of time doing one thing, you're not going to be able to spend time with friends or playing outside or seeing mommy and daddy. So you need to plan time. And they asked her, how much time do you think you should have on the iPad?
And she said 45 minutes.
She knew there were 2 shows she liked.
Yeah.
And so she selected, and they figured out a way that they would time it, and I think they used the kitchen timer.
Or Alexa.
Right.
They would say, Alexa, start timing
older.
it. Yeah.
So
By the way, I don't like that Alexa.
No.
We
She listens.
We unplugged ours. I think it's creepy. Anyway. You know me, I love technology, but when Bob heard or started seeing all the articles that that thing is always on.
Yeah, it's listening. The thing that scares me about it is this happened to me the other day. I was looking for a specific type of shoe, and I'd said something to Richard about it, and then it all was popping up on my Facebook feed and all my other feeds.
Because
Instagram.
It influenced your...
So
they sold... Somehow that cookie data went somewhere, right?
It went to Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and then the shoe starts popping up, and I was like, whoa, this is a little creepy.
Weird question for everybody. How often do you delete the cache on your browser?
Once every 2 months, once a month.
Garrett, as I recall, you like the cache because you like things being suggested for you, right?
Oh, that stuff? Yeah. I don't mind cookies and things like that. I'm not hiding anything. What do I care? It's fun to see what they suggest.
I'm on the same page with that. I don't hide it. I don't clear anything. I just let it go. And then
Bobby, do you clear
I
yours?
fall for the ads, the tailored ads.
Yeah.
I always buy shit that comes up on those.
Bobby,
I'm a
do you?
perfect mark for all that.
I'm the same way. I never clear it out. I like the
never
suggestions, and I fall sucker to the ads as well.
I don't clean mine either, as you know.
I do, yeah.
Oh, but John does his every day.
You could... Every time I close the browser, it's programmed to wipe the cache.
But then every time you have to sign back
all
into
your-
Facebook, you have
That's
to sign.
okay. I have every password practically memorized.
Why do you
because-
want to clean it every day?
Think of the time you're wasting. Even if it's 15 seconds every website you're logging into.
Look at the
Times
face.
10
Look at the face.
websites
Look
a
at the
day.
face. I hope you're watching, people. Look at the face on John.
I'm just going to say, we were at a vacation house.
Here we go.
And we were with family.
Oh, no.
And they had a computer that everybody was sharing. And the family leaves, and I go to the computer to look up a tourist attraction. I accidentally hit the back button on the browser, and what popped up? I went down the rabbit hole. It was...
Well, you're nosy then. You should have just not looked. I bet you're the one. You're probably the type who you go on someone's computer, you'll hit history. You're sneaky.
I might...
Careful, boys.
I might do that, but...
He's a medicine cabinet peeker.
Yes. A draw looker.
If I'm not... Garrett knows if I'm not saying anything, then I've been made speechless by...
Yeah, you gotta
in this
watch
case,
'em.
the
You gotta
truth,
watch
I
'em.
suppose. Yeah, little pieces of data are important.
Don't give him your phone somewhere. I've seen him at restaurants. So friends will give him a phone to look, and he will just start swiping. And I'm like, John, they just want to show you one picture. And you what's this?
By the way, that happened on an Amtrak train going upstate. When we were back on Sirius,
Do you not do that?
this guy, this young kid sat next to me. He worked for a carnival. He was a carny. And he was a gay carny. And he gives me the phone to show me a picture of this
Clown.
Philo Doe booth or something that he worked at. I immediately start going back until I see dick pictures and all this other stuff. And he not even missing a beat. He talks about that was his boyfriend. That was in a city. They were in Chicago. He met this. But yeah, I'm bad that way. So now I don't even,
This is why he cleans his cash.
empty. I may change my behavior. I've decided after this conversation that I'm going to have it do it only once a week. So build up a little bit, and then it will go.
I do have separate internet profiles for like me and my girlfriend, though.
That's smart. Because I don't want to accidentally find something, or anyway.
Anyway, people, take care. Make sure you have your kids decide that they don't need to be on the screens all the time.
Yeah, indistractable.
Indistractable. So we have last week we tried a flavor. This week we're going to try Maple Creme Oreos.
Just in time for the fall.
Just in time for the fall. So the boys in the booth are Oreologists. Is he an Oreologist or Oreographer?
No, Oreologist.
Oreographer.
Oh, you're Oreographer, a mapper. He maps the Oreos, yeah.
Oreographer. Here, John. Maple cream, vanilla cookie.
I think Steve did it where he
Golden cookie with maple flavored cream.
Steve did something where he made this a double stuff. He took the thing off and he put 2 cookies together and he made it like a massive.
I know Garrett's not going to like it because Garrett likes the birthday cake ones. But let's start. Who do we want to start with? John, what do you think?
When I was a kid, around Thanksgiving, my mother used to get us these little brown sugar candy things.
Yeah, those are great. The maple candy.
Yeah, it was a Pilgrim and a Pilgrim.
In your mouth.
I like the taste of those. I'm not sure I kind of like this.
I think this would be really good on a scoop of vanilla ice cream or with really, really cold milk because it's a little too sweet.
It's very pancakey, obviously. Like syrup on a pancake, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel
Garrett's
like
nailed
if you mix these in a pancake.
Yeah.
Like I've made Oreo pancakes before.
You
They're
have?
Delicious. Oh yeah. Just take crumbled up bits of Oreo, throw it in the batter, and cook it.
Really?
Yeah, it's delicious. So I think if you did the same thing with these, it'd be awesome. It'd be like pre-syruped pancakes.
Well, that's not a bad idea. Bobby, what do you think of this?
I think it was good for one. I wouldn't want more than like 1 or 2. To be honest with you, I could eat just one.
Yeah, it's a good breakfast cookie.
Also, I enjoyed the double stuff one better than the regular.
But you got double that flavor. It's like having.
Yeah.
It's like this to me tastes like I took the Mrs. Butterworth syrup bottle, poured some on a spoon, and ate it like that without even pancake. I don't even get the pancake. I just get that kind of sugary, syrupy
You
thing.
don't do that normally?
I do that with table sugar, not with.
I don't like a lot of syrup on my pancakes. I like them almost a little
I don't
dry.
like ice cream and cake together. I don't like a lot of syrup on my pancakes.
Nope.
See?
You know me, I don't like the mix of the milk.
I'm surprised you said that you would have the Oreo, that you would have this with vanilla ice cream.
It's hard. It's not going to get soft. I don't like I don't like mushy cake. I don't like tiramisu for that reason.
Spongy stuff.
Too wet. I don't like a wet
Oh,
cake.
no. You did have the best tiramisu you ever had.
Where?
You had it in Italy.
Italy.
And we were at Corsica or another island, Sardinia. Remember they had the fish that came out and they had homemade tiramisu. You and I were both like, we've never tasted it like
You
this.
never will again.
You never will again, yeah. All right, so the verdict is okay on the
I think the verdict is they're sweet,
sweet.
right?
But everyone liked them, so I'd say
Yeah.
above average. All right.
Bobby, you got a good radio voice. Are you studying to be in broadcasting or something?
I'm hoping to get into that. I want to do stand-up comedy. That's the overall goal.
all right.
but-
Oh,
That's the theme of this studio.
there was just an opinion piece in the Times by a female comic, and she was talking about stand-up as being a...
Judy Gold?
Oh, you remember Judy Gold used to come in after. She was talking about it being a really male-dominated world, the club scene. She said it's fun, but it's also kind of edgy and a bit like it's hard because you're dealing with a lot of, audiences that could be tough.
Right.
Other comics who are tough. I don't know. I think it's a hard gig, stand-up. I don't know if I could do it. I tried once in college. It was a failure.
You can't because you don't like rejection.
And on that happy
You wouldn't be a good Jehovah's Witness either.
No. Remind me of I just met 2 Mormon.
Witnesses?
No, I met 2 Mormon. They were on a mission. They got off the train with me, and I said, "You guys from Utah?" No, we're from California. I said, "Well, you have to be from Utah." They said, "Why?" I said, "Well, the Mormon Tabernacle's there, the whole." But no, we're not from Utah.
Why would you engage the Mormons?
Because they lived in the neighborhood. They had an apartment, and we're chit-chatting, and the guy says, "Have you heard the word?" Whatever. I said, "Oh, no, I have wax in my ears when it comes to that." And the guy goes, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm gay." I said, "I'm not more welcome at the Tabernacle." I said, "You guys have made some strides, but it was funny to watch the thing pivot ever so slightly from, oh, this is a nice guy, to, that was a nice guy, until he said he was gay.
Why are you even engaged?
Well, happy day. Quit browser, clear cache.
Say goodbye.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you, everybody in the booth. We liked everybody liked them, but they're sweet. The maple syrup, what is it?
Cream.
Maple Creme Oreo cookies. Big thank you to Deep Discount. Get to Deep Discount, by going to focusgroupradio.com, clicking on the shark logo, R. And while you're there, check out the new Sega Genesis Mini. It looks pretty cool. It has a lot of games that we played when we were younger, and I'm looking forward to buying it and hooking into the TV. The release this week was Yesterday, which we think is a pretty cool-looking movie, and we're going to get it ourselves. And last but not least, we like to say, don't text and drive, arrive alive, and we will see you in the new week. Thank you.
It's The Focus Group with Tim Bennett and John Nash. Accessible on all platforms. Subscribe, like, and rate us on your platform of choice. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com.
That was a stunning focus group.